Hello lovely people, and welcome to my series around mental health. This topic today is around depression. So, what is it? Depression. It is one of those silent illnesses that tends to grab a hold of you. It is not something that you can tell just by looking at a person. What depression is, it can come from being hereditary. Someone in your family could have had it before you. You could have grown up with depression. Depression could be circumstantial, things that happen around you that has caused you to feel this way, and it's an ongoing sadness. So depression isn't just like, I'm sad today, tomorrow I'm fine, I'll get over it, a few days of pain, that's it. It is one of those things where it's ongoing pain that there are times where there's no explanation. There are times where you can't explain to people why you feel so sad, why you feel so low. And there are many symptoms to depression. So things like being socially withdrawn. So someone could call me up to hang out and I could be like, I've got other things to do. When I don't, I'm just at home and wanting to just dwell because I don't feel like being around people. Lack of appetite or eating too much. There could be things like not enough sleep or too much sleep. There are days that I know that I just sleep too much. And then I wake up late in the afternoon or at night and it's like I've just wasted a day. And then that makes you feel crap. Other things could be being sad for no reason. Not being able to sustain happiness even when you've had a good day. You just constantly feel sad. No motivation. No motivation to do things like your schoolwork, whether working, exercise, anything. Other things like poor concentration. Whether you're at school, you're at uni, you have things to do, but you can't concentrate on things because you just constantly feel so low. There are plenty other symptoms to depression. These are just things from the top of my mind. And again, it's just one of those things that it's hard to explain to people. So there are things that come up in depression that make you feel that you're the reason for everything that goes wrong. You may blame yourself for everything around you, everything that happens, even when it has nothing to do with you. Something could happen in your family and you might blame yourself for it. Something could happen in your circle of friends, and just because you are there and something happens, you may feel like it's your fault, but it's not. You may get these thoughts. So apart from self-blame, it could be disgust within yourself. It could be you're not worth living. It could be anything that's really that impacts on your functioning. And we call these things negative thoughts. So I just want to give you a bit of a trigger warning around this, because negative thoughts are one of those things that, again, they can come up with no reason at all. And some thoughts to me that come up could be around, I'm not good enough and I never will be. It could be, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not worthy of friends, I'm not worthy of being connected, I'm not worthy of anything, I'm not worth being in this world. It could be that I blame myself for absolutely everything. I'm disgusted in myself, like who am I? This is just like, I could be so much better than what I am, but I can't. I just want to crawl under a rock. These thoughts, though, they're lies. They don't define who we are, and they're not the truth of who we are. So, how can we get around these thoughts? How can you manage these thoughts? How can you manage being depressed? Can you get over it? Is there a way of getting around it? And I hate when people are like, oh, you're depressed, get over it. There are worse people off in this world than what you are. You have no reason to be sad. These things aren't true, and it's again, it's a part of the silent illness. So there are treatment options. There are treatment options for depression. And I'm sorry for my cue cards, because when I wrote them out, they were meant to come out to you clearly, but it turns out to be back to front. Anyways, treatment options for depression. There are counselling, medication, you can see a psychiatrist, there are support groups, seeing a support worker, a caseworker to help you through your recovery, or get you into recovery anyways. And I had a question raised around medication. I was very reluctant around medication for 5 years. I had counselling for 5 years and didn't think that I needed medication, or I thought that I didn't want it because I've seen people on medication and they're like zombies, or they don't benefit from it. But it's each to their own, and it's about how it affects you personally. So for me, it's like, it'll alter my brain chemistry and it'll make me a different person. But you need to try before you buy, and not one all medication works the same for everyone. So I've now been on 2 different kinds of medication, and at first, yeah, you get side effects for the first 2 weeks or so, and they may make you feel dysfunctional, make you feel worse than what you want it to be. But after those side effects are gone, you will feel some benefit. I won't have medication on its own though. For me, medication needs to go hand in hand with your doctor, your psychiatrist, a counsellor, a support worker, someone that can monitor how you're going with it. And so when someone is depressed, how do you help them reach out for help? Reaching out for help can be one of the hardest things when you don't know how to describe how you're feeling, when you don't want to. It's debilitating and it takes over. So there are days where it's like, I like to screw the world. I don't want to associate with it. Describing that you're depressed to a doctor, it's just like, well, they're just going to give me pills and I don't want it. But it's the first step. Or even before that, it's about reaching out. So telling a family member or a friend that you're not feeling great. Having someone that'll listen to you. And that can often be the hardest things to do. So where do you go from there? You talk to your doctor about your treatment options. And again, as I mentioned, counselling, medication, support groups. 1 in 5 Australians suffer, or 1 in 4 actually, suffer from depression. So you think about people in your family. You think about people that you socialise with. 1 in 4. That's a large number of people who suffer from depression. So how can we manage depression? How can you manage it? There are things that you can do to look after yourself. Whether it's educating yourself around depression, putting in a distress tolerance plan. And so that goes around when you're in crisis, what you can do to look after yourself. Having a list of people that you can reach out to, like helplines, online counsellors, phone counsellors, a friend that you trust, a family member. Going for a walk. Exercise is so amazing for your mental health, especially when you, like me, you have those days where you just sleep it away and you feel so useless. So when you feel useless and worthless and helpless, and it's so despairing that you feel that you're not worthy of help, what do you do? Other things that you can do is stuff that's mindful, stuff that to you is enjoyable. For me, it's like my pets. Having a cuddle to my pets, using music, having someone to reach out to. Art, if you're interested, if you're passionate with artwork, just go nuts with it. being alone when you're depressed can be the worst things out there, because you don't feel connected. And I know for me that's when I'm alone and I feel in crisis, I'm not worthy of reaching out. It's like, well, there's other people in the world that need support, and I'm just feeling depressed. But when you're in a crisis, things can happen that are quite maladaptive, and you do it to cope. And again, trigger warning. So things for me that I've done for about 10 years or so would be self-harm, and it's maladaptive. To start with, it was like, yeah, it's great. I release blood. I know I'm still alive. I don't want to die, but I find it hard to reach out. Like, I'm covered in scars, but this day it's like, if I was to self-harm, it's like, why am I doing this to myself? Because it doesn't help. There are things like, even people, like when they're feeling in crisis or feeling so low that they can't reach out, things that happen is suicidality. They may feel so suicidal because they don't know how to manage, or it just gets too much. This does not make a person weak. It actually makes them quite strong to get to that point, that they've tried so many different things, or they've just found it so hard to vocalize their pain, that they get to a point where they feel the only way to get out of this is death. When a person gets to that point, they need someone. They need someone to talk to. They need someone to let them know that everything is going to be okay, that there is help, and they are so worthy of support. They are so worthy of help. They are so worthy of being able to manage this depression where they can feel happy. I know for myself, it's of a nighttime where I feel the most in crisis, because their services, they shut around 5 o'clock, and then it's like, well, then what do I have when I'm at crisis at 8, 9 o'clock at night? And that's hard. That is incredibly hard. What do you do? Yeah, you can dwell and just feel empty and no one cares. Or for myself, it's like you feel that you're an inconvenience to reach out, because people would obviously be asleep around 10, 11 o'clock at night, or people have their own issues, so why would they want to talk to me? And that is when I need help the most. So again, I stress the importance of reaching out. Things like Kids Helpline, Headspace, Beyond Blue. They are amazing supports. So Suicide Callback, Lifeline. When you're feeling in such crisis, it's important to reach out, because you are important. And then there are times where I hate it, and a lot of people get freaked out by the fact that you may need to call an ambulance. You may have to go into hospital so that you could have someone that could monitor you or talk to you, so that you don't reach the point where you feel that you need to take your life or seriously injure yourself. So it's very important, and I think it's important to break the stigma around depression. Some families don't talk about it. Some families don't talk about mental health in general because of the stigma associated with it. But it's so important. And we need to be able to support each other through these issues, through these illnesses. They are demons, and it's one of those things where it's like, it wants to grab a hold of you. It likes to see you suffer. But you don't have to give into it. And I know, easier said than done. But as I keep stressing, there's so much more to life. Dreams and aspirations, long-term goals, we all have them. It's a matter of being able to push yourself and fight to get there. You are resilient. You may be knocked down quite a few times and feel that it's rather despairing and you can't get back up, but you do. You manage to do so. And at times it may not be the healthiest way of doing so, but you manage. depression doesn't have to win. And even when you feel hopeless and worthless and that no one cares for you, that's your brain telling you lies, and it is nothing but lies. It's a negative perception that your brain tells you, and that's why it's so important to have help. So I guess I'm rambling now and I'm running out of things to say about this, but it's always important to look after yourself, and self-care is a very important part of that. And I struggle with that so much. What can I do to look after myself when I feel in such a state, or even when I'm happy, just to keep myself going? And for me, I go for walks. I cuddle up to my pets. I reach out to helplines when I need it. I reach out to supports. I put in safety plans when I feel in distress. Even if half the things don't work, it's like, well, I've tried A, B, and C, which is great, because it shows that, like, you know, even through the stress and the pain that you're in, you can do things still. We're all human. We breathe the same air. We bleed the same. And depression, it doesn't define who you are. And that's my, that's the message that I want to leave you with, is even though mental health illnesses can take a toll on you, it's not who you are. It may be a part of you, but it's not you. It's not you at all. Any comments, queries, complaints, anything, constructive criticism, put them in the feedback, in the comments. Likes, shares if you feel the need. Topics, put them down into the comments, and yeah, I look forward to it, and we'll see what the next video contains. Everyone have a great day, and keep in mind, even if you're feeling depressed, do something that you enjoy. Do something that makes you happy, because you are worth it.